A friend of mine asked a couple days ago about the composition of the New Testament and why it was the way it is. And we don't know, of course, exactly why it is the way it is. But here's just some explanation that I gave him, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. The four Gospels were written, and they take up actually most of the New Testament by four different people, and they're written for different purposes. So Matthew wrote for the Jews and convince them that Jesus was the Messiah. Mark is Peter's quick and dirty uh, recitation of the Gospels. Luke is, of course, Luke, the historian, the Gentile historian, the doctor's deep historical look at the life of Jesus, followed by his sequel Acts, which is the beginning of the church. And John talks about how Jesus felt and kind of more the underpinning the feelings of Jesus and the understandings that Jesus had and how he was uh, relating to his disciples. And then we've got the letters of Paul, and Paul was a lawyer, so he wrote the way a lawyer writes. He wrote about the Gospels. He was explaining the Gospels, and he was writing to Gentiles. And so he has a bunch of different books. Most of them are short, punchy little books. How do you live out the Old Testament? Because his readers didn't understand his new readers didn't understand the Old Testament. They weren't Jews. They hadn't grown up with the Old Testament, and they needed to explain. So he writes a bunch of different things to explain it. And then we have the other what we call the general epistles, just kind of talking about how we can relate to Jesus and how we can practically do some things. James is the Proverbs of the New Testament, and of course John's got a couple more letters, and Peter has a letter in there, and then one of Jesus' brothers has a letter in there, Jude, and of course James also, but Jude too. And then we have that final book, Revelation, which tells us what's going to happen, and the final things that are gonna occur before Jesus comes back again. So hopefully that's helpful and just gives you a quick down and dirty of what the New Testament is like and why it was structured the way it is. Thanks.